I really think there's no bad time to flirt. I'm all about shooting your shot.
Sometimes being a good friend means calling them out on their dumb decisions.
If he doesn't open the door for me on a first date, huge red flag.
Welcome to Dialed In.
Hello.
Welcome to Dialed In, your daily dose of unlicensed therapy. I'm Rachel.
And I am Montaine.
And this is your hour to join the conversation. So no matter how unwell you're feeling, we got your back.
So call us 888-91 on air. That is 888-916-6247. And remember, if you are listening to today's show on the SIRIUSXM app, you can just hit the phone icon on the app and it will just click right to our phone number. So you don't even need to remember it.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Because I'm just built different.
Yeah, you're built different. We're here to give you advice. We're also going to talk later about people who give bad advice. Because that's not us,
Not
obviously.
Me. That's not what I get paid to do. I get paid to give good advice. Mm-hmm. And I don't make any money. I actually work on commission. For every bad piece of advice I get, I make $0. And every good piece of advice, I make $1 million.
So you must be loaded.
I'm literally rolling in money. It's crazy. Yesterday, after we wrapped the show on Mondays, like I always do, I play basketball all the time, but I played basketball yesterday.
That just reminded me of something because you can finish.
No, go.
Okay. Remember when you said that you played basketball with Adam Sandler?
Mm-hmm.
I met Adam Sandler this weekend.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And I showed him a video of myself dressed up as him. Meet your heroes.
What did he say?
He props me. He said, "That's really good."
He was like, "All right, have a nice day, peace."
And then when I walked away, he said, "That was really funny." Like he was talking to other people. He's like, "That's really good." I'm just like, yeah, I made Adam Sandler laugh. So
you should have been in his next movie.
I know.
Should have propositioned that.
To play his daughter.
Something.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to be, come off too strong. I did show him an entire video of me dressed up as him.
It's like, it's a little brown nosy, a little bit.
So that was my first audition, but I will follow back up once I meet him again.
I'm just like imagining meeting any celebrity. Like if someone was like, "Hey, huge fan, Rachel," and showed you a video of them dressed as you, you'd be like, "All right, cool." like
the fuck?
Of course they have to say yes, but at the same time, I'd also understand if he was like a little.
No, but I could
out.
see the joy in his eyes because I was also singing a song that he wrote, and it was more of a bit.
Okay,
I think he appreciates a bit.
Shout out to Adam Sandler, friend of the pod, friend of the show. Anyway, so we were playing basketball yesterday, like I do every week. There was something in the air. I don't know if it's like this week or life in general. Maybe I'm just like more attuned to it now.
Mercury something in retrograde.
Yeah, I don't know if it's planetary. Whatever it is, the boys are fighting.
Uh-oh.
Like to a toxic level. Now, I'm a big talker of shit on the basketball court mid-game. I don't say anything. Once the game is over, I'm like, cool, dap everybody up, leave, go my own way. I don't think twice about it. When I'm on the court and I'm guarding somebody, I'm like, you fucking suck. You're fucking dog shit. I'll score. I'll fucking dunk on you right now. Like, I'm just talking shit to people because I'm getting in their head. I'm like, when people get mad at me, they play worse, makes my job easier.
Wow, so you're sabotaging them.
It's just like
it's kind of a low. I feel like sports, you guys are all about like camaraderie,
fuck no,
getting along.
No,
there's so many low blows.
No. It's all about camaraderie after the game, but like in the game, in the heat of the battle, you're just talking shit, and that's everybody. I don't think I'm unique. The problem is, yesterday there were so many, and I wasn't even involved in a single interaction. There were so many fragile egos, like over nothing. I'm like, let's play the game. Like it got to a certain point where 4 different fights broke out on the court, like literally fist fights. Like over nothing.
Use your words, boys.
Over people talking shit. And the thing that pissed me off was I was like, all right, at least like if you're gonna talk shit and you're gonna back it up in a fight, like fight. These guys like squared up.
You want to go?
They squared up
with
for like
you?
For against each other for like 2 solid minutes. I was like holding one of them back, and the other kid was like holding another kid back. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let them go. Let them fight. And they just danced around each other for 2 minutes. What you gonna do, pussy? What you gonna do? You ain't gonna do nothing. And just talking. I'm like, at least punch each other in the face once and then dap up or like whatever. I'm like, they just talked. They circled around each other like fucking hyenas. Nothing was accomplished. They both also suck at basketball.
I will say basketball is the biggest pussy sport in my opinion. I love watching basketball. I think it's the hottest sport. Basketball, I'm watching them. They're dribbling. They like trip and fall. They're like, oh, I'm in so much pain.
Have you watched soccer? Like, it's obviously the biggest pussy sport. Like, that is where they literally purposely fake injuries and dive as part of the game.
I find they do that in basketball too, and it sounds like I'm right because you said they were fake fighting and doing a whole dance. Like, just make out already.
But this wasn't about like the sport itself. Like in basketball, they are also divas, but soccer is a whole nother level, and you need to like I'm just gonna. We got Emily at some point
So
on
I'll just
social.
go watch Bend It like Beckham.
Sure, but we got to like pull up some clips of soccer players like faking injuries and whining like fucking babies. Anyway, what else do we have going on today?
Well, we want to get into figuring out what is your relationship with your boss at work versus out of work.
Oh yeah.
If you have any crazy boss stories, please give us a call at 888-91 on air. That's 888-916-6247.
That reminds me.
Tell us what's going on.
Our boss is here. It's very different working here at Unwell than any other work environment I've ever been a part of.
It's very different. Our boss is here.
Well, our boss is here, and also like
I feel
everyone
like
at
everyone's
Unwell.
boss is with them at work.
No, but Unwell is cool. Like it's like the first cool work environment I've ever worked at.
Yeah. We have a cool job.
Yeah, exactly. But every other work environment I've ever been a part of, let's just say this: I've never purposely tried to hang out with my boss outside of work. Nor do I think you should. Like maybe a team dinner here and there, but like other than that, I'm like, I want to go about my own business.
That's smart. I've hung out with many of bosses.
Yeah, hard pass for me. So anyway, back in the day when I was working retail, is when I was working at Topman, which is actually coming back. They got rid of all the retail stores. It was just bought and sold by ASOS, and now they're back. So they're putting stores back out again. So guys, if you're hiring, let me know. Anyway, when I was working at Topman back in the day, I had a boss who was like you know how you have a boss sometimes who like tries to be like the cool boss and whatever. We had like two asshole bosses, one who like ran the whole store, one who was like the district manager or whatever, and this other one. And he was like the cool guy, like everyone's favorite when he was on shift. It was cool, etc. And I liked him. He was nice. Again, not somebody I was ever trying to hang out with out of work, but all of the other guys who worked there had been working there before me. We're all friends with him. And at one point, during my tenure there, I basically decided to like have like a little after work party, told everyone that I worked with, my employees, my friends.
Your fellow employees.
And then he texted me, and I thought it was work related. And he was like, "Hey, heard you're having a party. Like, would you mind if I came?"
Not invite the boss.
No.
I feel like you kind of have to.
I disagree.
But he was trying to be cool and friends with everyone.
He's also like 10 years old. I was just like, you're 10 years older. Like by the way, this is like a heavy, when you're working at retail, I don't know what it's like for everybody, but at least like in the retail environment, I was hard partiers. I'll say that. Okay. It was not just drinking being done. When those things are being done, it's not like I want to see my boss. Also, my boss was someone who partook in that I found out later. Okay. And the thing is, when you're out of work, the walls are kind of down a little bit. You know, everybody's drinking, but at the end of the day, I still have to show up tomorrow, and I'm gonna be fucking hungover out of my mind, probably still hammered, like on the floor at the shop. I don't want to do that, and then have this person know what I was up to the night before. He texts me, "Hey, heard you're having a party." I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "Would you mind?" I'm like, "Well, you already texted me." So he comes to my party. For the first hour of my party, I was with all my friends, everything. We're hanging out, great time. And then he shows up, and then instantly I was just like, this sucks.
Party's ruined.
Just because nobody could like chill. Everybody's scared. It's like there's an op in our midst.
See, like if I was a boss, I would be a really chill boss. When at my last job, I had to interview people.
Yeah.
And I had never interviewed people before, and they would come on the interview, and I'm like, okay, now's your time to ask me questions. I'm like, oh, they'd ask me questions, and I'd start acting as if I'm being interviewed by them. Like literally, they're like, with days off, like how does that work? I said, oh, you want to take a day off? Just take it. I'm like, just do whatever you want. I'm so chill. I'll be chill. So basically, I'm only bossy, happy like a real boss. But my first job ever when I worked at Brandy Melville's, I was 17, 18, maybe 19. I don't know. But I showed up severely hungover from partying with the coworkers that had gotten me the job. So I was like, first day of work, I was genuinely unwell. I was like, how the fuck am I going to this job? I cannot do it. I'm meant to stay home. I can't go to work. I show up to Brandy Melville. I'm just put in the basement to do all the tagging of the clothes for my first day because the boss was down there doing it. I was so scared because I actually couldn't see straight. I get down there and she's like, oh my God, I had the craziest night, and goes on a rant page of everything that she did the night before. And I was like, to be honest, I went to a rave last night. Like, I'm so unwell. I'm going to throw up. And she was like, that's hilarious. I love that. And so, it bonded us, and it created a place of safety and camaraderie within the store for all the girls to just like use this time of work to fold clothes and catch up about our lives.
But like, okay, here's my
Does that
thing.
count?
Here's my thing with the bosses, right? Like, let's say don't take this in a fucked up way. I think you can be a fantastic business person in your own light, okay, in your own
Who,
right.
me?
Yes. I don't think you'd be a good boss. I think you're too nice to be a good boss, because the thing is, it's easy when things are going well at the company or whatever to be happy-go-lucky. What if the higher-ups tell you, hey, we got to downsize, like we got to fire? Like, I cannot imagine you having to fire somebody.
I know.
Especially if you're like, that's my girl, that's my party girl, like someone below me. Like, how are you going to do that?
I don't think I would be. I'm not good at being a boss.
Fire me right now.
Well, that's the thing. If you piss me off, no problem being a boss. You're fired.
But if you, not believable, I'd be like, ha ha ha.
No, I can be serious.
Here's my thing. Okay, Rich. Even if you can be serious, when it comes to work things, the whole point of being at work is to get shit done. Okay, I get it. You want to have fun. It is okay if you're a boss to do fun things during work hours, little team building activities, little fun things, even like a little lunch or a dinner, whatever. Involving drinking and all that shit, like blurring those lines, in my opinion, unless you're in like a relatively unserious like hourly job like I was in retail, don't blur those lines. Like, it's just not worth it, because the people will never get to be themselves when they actually want to. As a boss, like, you're not supposed to be best friends with everyone who works for you. I'm sorry.
It's really hard for people who just love to get along.
Yes, you like to get along and you want to be likable.
Yeah, there's probably someone listening who's like me, when they're just super nice and they want to get along with everyone on their team and they want to be like the cool boss, the cool mom. What do we do in those situations? Because I've had to be a boss, and then I had to really kind of lean in at certain times to that hard line. And the person that I was probably telling all these messages to was probably like, wait, which Rachel is this? Like, I haven't seen her. And then it throws them off, because I'm usually so happy-go-lucky. Like, let's make a funny TikTok. Let's have fun. This is just a job. Like, it's not that deep.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I mean, if you're listening to what I'm listening to, it means let's not hire Rachel for any boss position yet. We need to get you to be more stern with the people below you.
I'm going to be serious moving forward.
We'll do a little boss employee role play where Rachel will have to fire me.
But you know what? I can be very bossy.
Okay. That's different, though. That's different. Anyway, let's move on to something.
I'm a boss-ass bitch who's a bossy bitch.
Nice. But anyway, something else I was talking about the other day, and I posted this on TikTok. Not that anyone cares. Follow me at Montaine. But I bought these little pink. You ever do this? Like, I bought pink shoes, basketball shoes for myself. And I said, it's just something I've always wanted since I was a kid and I never got. Like, when I was growing up, my mom or my dad literally would be like, okay, here's like $100 to like get shoes, like once a basketball season. And $100 back in the day could get you like okay shoes, but it couldn't get you like the ones I ever wanted.
The sick shoes.
So I was always getting like kind of like whatever shoes. Like, nobody on my team was like, damn, those are fire. Everyone was like, okay, cool. Like, they're cool, whatever. So now I want to get all the shoes I always wanted as a kid, because they're remaking all of them now anyway. So I bought like these Kevin Durant shoes. They're called Aunt Pearls. He makes them every year for his Aunt Pearl who passed away from breast cancer. They're always all pink or some pink design. So I got those. Then I was like, I guess I'm kind of like healing my inner child in a way. Like, have you ever bought something to heal your inner child?
I mean, I feel like I'm trying to think. I bought myself Taylor Swift tickets, and I don't think it's the same way in the sense that you wanted these things and you never got them. And you're like, finally, I'm going to get them. Because I feel like when I was growing up, there were things that I wanted. My parents said no. And now looking back, I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Like, probably didn't need that. But Taylor Swift for me has been around since I've been a child. And I started listening to her music when I was 12 years old. And every stage of my life I've listened to it. And so when she went on the Eras tour, so she was covering all of her albums, including the ones I would listen to.
That just clicked, by the way. You ever have that?
You didn't know what the Eras tour was.
I was like, the Eras tour, it's like her new tour for the album. I just realized the Eras is like she's doing all her
every
eras.
era of Taylor Swift she did. So starting with Taylor
Swifties, please take it easy. I'm good.
Fearless was really, me and Fearless went strong. So I was set. I looked past the price, which was an abomination to my bank account.
Four digits?
4 digits.
Jesus. Oh my God. 4 digits for a concert is fucking psychotic.
Yeah, it was psychotic. Except for that the entire concert, I was in pure bliss.
Okay, cool.
I was crying. I was laughing. I was screaming. I was swaying. I was dancing. You
were having a Swift-gasm.
I was having a Swift-gasm, and 12-year-old me, 15-year-old me, 19-year-old me, 21-year-old me, 25-year-old me, 29-year-old me.
All right, well, you just ruined Swift-gasm for me, talking about 14-year-old you, bro. But
we're talking about healing our inner child, but yeah. I was healed after that.
Good. I mean, that sounds like the kind of perfect purchase to heal. It's not about healing your inner child so much it is like
giving
wanting
yourself something that you wanted as a kid.
You just want to be cool. Like, I want to show my 13-year-old self that I'm the fucking shit now. That's really what it's about. If you're listening right now and you have something that you've either bought or wanted to buy for yourself to heal your inner child or just to show 13-year-old you that now you're cool as fuck, call us 888-91 on air. That is 888-916-6247. Jordy, what is something that you bought to heal your inner child? What's up?
When I was a kid, I always loved like little critters. So when I turned 18, I bought chinchillas, and that was a terrible decision because chinchillas.
Wait,
you know
can you explain to me what is a chinchilla? Because for some reason when you say it, I'm picturing some sort of like monkey.
Time out.
It's like a cross between a squirrel and a rabbit and a guinea pig.
And it's like super soft.
A chinchilla.
Super soft, but
they're like super soft. They're cute. Wait, Jordy, hold on. Can we make fun of Rachel? Can we make fun of Rachel for 1 second because she thought a chinchilla was a kind of monkey?
It sounds like it would be. Chinchilla, chimpanzee, something. Okay, so how's the chinchilla? What's his name?
Well, they were great. I had 2 of them, and I gave them a great life. They kind of became my entire personality. Like, I got them a 6-foot-tall chinchilla mansion, but they were so destructive. They destroyed, like, all of my shoes were chewed up. My belts. They even chewed cords. And I remember one time I was in college, like they chewed my laptop cord, and so there's some frayed wires. And when I went to plug in my laptop in class, it like exploded and started smoking.
Oh my God.
Wait, you just let the chinchillas roam free in your house?
Yes.
I thought people have cages.
But I thought they had a mansion.
Well, yeah, but when they're out of their mansion, like when I was home, I'd let them out of the mansion and roam around.
You were a chinchilla landlord.
They'd summer in the house.
It was crazy. And one of them tried to chew its own leg off. And so I took it to the vet, and they almost had to amputate. But to save its leg for like 2 months, I had to do these really extensive dressing changes. I don't know. They're a lot of work. I wouldn't recommend them, but they're so cute.
Where are they at now?
Obviously, Rachel. Hold on. How do we break this? They're in chinchilla heaven, Rachel.
Oh, no, not the chinchillas.
Jordy, how long did chinchillas live?
Like 18 years. So it's a commitment.
Oh, wait, they're still alive?
It's a long time. Well, I actually had to rehome them. We had a closed adoption because it was so sad. But oh my God, there's so much work. You know, I was like 30 years old and I had chinchillas. That's from 18.
It's a little girl pet.
Well, I'm proud of you for, you stepped into your mother role, and that through doing that, you healed your inner child.
I'm still not over the fact that one of the chinchillas wanted to bite its own leg off.
Those little rascals.
It was horrible.
It's like
everything was exposed.
But it proves our point. We always say on the show, like, mo money, mo problems, because we're just like, the problems never change. It's like you buy a chinchilla a mansion and then it gets depression. It's like, I wonder if you just got it like a normal ass house with a small mortgage, like it would have just been
those,
fine.
like hamster wheels they could run in.
Yeah, it would have just been super chill. But you gave it too much. It didn't know how to live a life of luxury. That is fucking hilarious. That is fucking hilarious.
That is really good. And Emily just showed me a picture of a chinchilla. And if I saw one of those, I'd run the other way.
I get it. I went over to someone's house a long time ago. This was when I was like a kid, and they had a chinchilla. I remember it was like thoroughly locked in the cage. I would never let one of those critters run free. But hey, to each their own.
Yeah. So what is something that you bought or you wanted to buy that would have healed your inner child? Call us at 888-91-ON-AIR. That's 888-916-6247. Let's get Stephanie on the line. Stephanie, what is something you bought to heal your inner child?
Hi, how are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
Hi.
We're good. What'd you buy?
Good. So I actually got an easy bake oven. I was about 30.
No.
And I never had one as a kid, and I always felt left out because a lot of my friends had one. And so that was something that, it just always stuck with me. Like, I'd go over my friends' houses, I'd make the little cookies, the little brownies, and I always, but my parents just didn't buy me one.
Wait, I need to know, when you bought it, were you making good cookies?
So actually, someone bought it for me. This guy bought it for me. So that, was even sweeter, I guess. Not that I was dating the guy, but, he whatever. I guess I had talked to him about it. So he bought me one, and it was very difficult. It was very difficult to bake in. I don't cook or bake anyway, so I suck
But
at
I thought
it.
it's an easy bake oven.
It's called a difficult bake oven.
Literally.
I remember easy bake oven also from when I was a kid, and my friends had them, and I just remember them never working. There was always some sort of issue with them.
Yep.
But it looks like they're still consistent. Proud of them.
Well, they are still, and I mean, my daughter's 14 now, but like 10 years ago, I bought her a new one at the time, and
right.
I mean, some of the things were okay. They were cute, like they had little sprinkles, but yeah, it's like a 40-watt bulb that cooks, so it still sucks. But you know what? It made me happy, and I felt like that little piece of my childhood was then complete because I did always feel I grew up in the 70s. And like it was a huge deal back then.
Definitely. That's really sweet. For me, I guess my equivalent would be like a George Foreman grill. Got to go buy me one of those. You remember the George Foreman, Rich?
I had a George Foreman grill.
We were just talking about this the other day. Like,
35.
I think everybody had the George Foreman somehow. And it's like, I always remember cleaning the George Foreman too afterwards, how it was just like 1,000 degrees. And it was just like.
The easy George.
Well, no, the George Foreman just got like so hot, like abnormally hot. And I used it all the time. And I was like, it's just crazy that everyone just bought one of those at one point. And I don't see them anymore. Like, when's the last time you saw a George Foreman grill?
I don't think they sell them, but I had 2 of them. And you had to clean it while it was hotter. It didn't get clean, and I'd always burn myself.
I can't keep up with these cleaning tactics. I actually had the Easy Bake computer game.
What is that?
And so I didn't have the actual, maybe I did have the actual oven, but I'm a digital kid. So you would strap on a fake kitchen, including a little oven, including a little thing to squirt out the icing. There were all these levers, and you wrap it on your keyboard. And so then you play the game on your computer, and you'd have to bake and actually do the stuff in the kitchen, but it would actually just press the keys underneath.
Right.
But I felt like I was, in the Easy Bake Oven.
Chefing up.
I was chefing it. I was baker, chef, madame, I don't know.
That is hilarious. I actually have always wanted an Easy Bake Oven. I forget if I saw it like on The Simpsons or something, but I remember there was like some cartoon I watched back in the day where I was like, damn, that would have been awesome. But I felt like it was like a girly gift to get, so I never really asked.
Time. This is your sign to get yourself an Easy Bake Oven.
Maybe after work, I'm gonna go on Amazon real quick, go get myself an Easy Bake Oven. If there are any other childhood purchases you've made now as an adult to heal your inner child, let us know. 888-91 on air. That is 888-916-6247. Or if you just want to call us and join the conversation, make sure to call us and keep it locked here after the break. Rachel told me a huge secret, guys, that you guys are never going to find out during the break. But something else we totally were not getting along about also was tipping culture. Okay. And this causes a huge debate every time I bring it up. If you have an opinion on tipping culture, okay, I want you to chime in this conversation. So really do call us 888-91 on air. That is 888-916-6247. Before we get into the conversation about tipping culture, what is your baseline opinion on tipping? When do you not?
Tipping. Let's put it in a sentence.
Language of origin, please.
I think tipping is required in the service industry.
Okay.
So when I'm
taxi.
Well, taxis.
I'm just gonna say a thing. You say tip or no tip. Ready? Taxi, Uber, Lyft, all that shit.
To the airport, tip.
But elsewhere?
I don't know if I do.
Wow. Coffee shop.
I mean, if my Uber is $60, like I'm not tipping $10 to go 10 minutes. I'm sorry. Is that horrible?
You're gonna get canceled for that. That's fucked up. You got to tip every car you take. Okay, time out. A coffee shop.
Yeah, tipping.
Tipping, restaurant.
Tipping,
bar.
Tipping.
Anything involving something where they're just handing you something over a counter, but they turn around the iPad at you.
Well, outside of the things that I just said, what are the other types
I don't know.
of tipping
If you order
operations?
something behind, I don't know. Emily, are there any other types of tipping operations?
What about tipping Uber Eats? Yeah. Tipping
Okay,
Postmates.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ordering food, of course. What else am I missing, Emily?
Any sort of like a makeup artist, if they come, anyone who does like wedding,
nail
bridal
salon?
hair,
Yes.
nail salon.
You tip at the nail
grooming.
salon. You tip your makeup artist.
Okay.
You tip the person who helps you with the bags
Mm-hmm.
at a hotel.
Yeah, concierge, bellboy.
Wait, do you ever tip people at the grocery store who bag your items?
Fuck no.
No.
Tipping at the grocery store is nuts.
My cousin was a bagger. His very first job that he had out of high
man.
school. Actually, I think he was still in high school. He was like, first job he ever had was a grocery bagger. And I think people did tip him.
There's no way that's true.
Could have just
Grocery
been
bagger
like
getting
friends
tipped?
of his parents that saw him working. Maybe they were
Yeah.
just being generous, but yeah.
I feel like that job is non-existent nowadays too. I feel like I have to bag my own shit everywhere I go. Like someone rings it up. They have a shop in
It's weird actually. I'm thinking back because like when I take a taxi in New York, if you have to pay with cash, I'll give a tip.
Yeah.
But on Uber, they just fuck you with the prices. Like it will say $10 on.
But you know who
Uber.
gets fucked over by that? The driver.
So
That's
shouldn't
why
that
I tip.
be on Uber?
Yes, it should be, but it's not. So in the interim, like I fucking pay. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think tipping culture has just got out of hand in general, like especially in coffee shop culture, because a lot of course, you know, you're gonna make me a latte and do some design and put a leaf on the top and write "I love you," whatever the fuck, you know, those people they like make a cat in the foam. Like, of course, like making a whole big drink. If you work at Starbucks, I've seen the line. They are working, they're grinding, they're sweating. They deserve to be tipped. However, there's certain coffee shops that I go to where I order a cold brew and they take it from the machine, they pour it in the cup, they put ice and they hand it to me. They don't even put the cap on it. They don't put the milk in it. I'm going to DIY. And then you turn the iPad
What
to
about
me.
an Erewhon when they made my fucking smoothie and then it's not even mixed?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's
I
like,
gotta mix
how
it
much
myself.
work am I putting into this? Because if I'm, you know, joining in on the assembly line, I'm not going to tip you $3 for pouring coffee into my cup. I just won't do it.
Right. I get it. That's a good take.
I have another one for you guys.
Wait. Okay. Yeah.
So I would sing in restaurants. And we have like
You
a
were
tip.
busking.
Was it solicited singing or
No, it was like
unsolicited?
I was like hired by the restaurant.
She's like at a table. She's like, "Oh, say, can you see?" Everyone's like, "Who
singing
the
Happy
fuck
Birthday.
is that? Who's singing?"
Well, that's like the girl on the plane who it was delayed for 3 hours, so
Yeah,
she
just
went
started
into the
singing.
microphone and she's like,
See this guy meets this
Yeah.
it calls me.
"Yeah,
No what?
Is that Moana?
Emily,
Yeah.
should we tip you right now?"
Yeah, you should.
Guys,
My Venmo
Guys,
is.
send tips. 888-91 on air. That is 888-916-6247. All right,
But
here's
what
the
I was
thing.
saying, what I was saying is people will request a song for a tip, but then sometimes not tip.
Like what?
That like they'll request you do a song, and then it's like, am I the asshole for being like, yeah, I'll play what you want?
Excuse me. Hey, can you play My Neck, My Back, please? Like, could you sing that? Yeah, I'll do it. And you're like, my neck, my back, my beat.
And they don't give you a tip
Yeah,
after
and
that.
then there's just no dollar. You're like, damn, I just sang that whole song.
For free.
Who sings that song?
For
Kia?
free, for free.
I need to
Another
know who
one.
sings that song. Anyway, this is my thing on tipping culture, right? And don't shoot me. I feel like the only people who really understand why you have to keep paying it forward in tipping culture are people who came from the service or retail industry. So I used to work in retail. I used to work in service.
I used to work in service and in retail.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's incredibly important to tip because those people make no money. It is Kia, by the way, who made that. God, I am such a slut. I fucking love that I knew who sings that shit. Anyway, coming from service, there's nothing worse than like working an 8-hour shift. That's like, you don't get paid more because the shift is way busier. It's just part of the job. So for example, I used to work at Joe and the Juice in Soho in New York, which for anyone who knows anything about Soho in New York, it's basically a fucking mob scene every single weekend. It would basically be 8 hours nonstop of juicing this, no break, no fucking nothing. And it's just like hundreds of people coming in during the day. I don't get paid any more for a shift like that. Whereas like I feel like a normal retail shift, okay, a little chill, you little do this, you fold the clothes, you talk to customers here and there. There was nonstop grinding. People who work in warehouses, like nonstop grinding. So when you come from a job like that, you understand that your hourly rate is not compensatory for what you're actually doing. Therefore, the tipping is incredibly important. Because on top of everything,
I've never seen tipping in a retail space.
Wait, hold on. On top of all that, in addition to actually performing at your job, the thing is with like making stuff, you still have to like be cool for customer facing. You have to be like, oh my God, I hope your service is really good and be sweet. Because if you're not sweet, you're in a bad mood. Everyone's like, wow, the service here sucks. They're going to leave it on Yelp. So it's like, in addition to doing the job, you also have to be super personable, which is like, okay, if I'm going to go above and beyond and be personable when I'm in a shitty ass mood, underpaid, I want to be tipped.
Right. But that is part of the job, being personable.
Not really. Like
If
if
you're
we're talking about the tasks.
If you're going to be in a hospitality industry, then yeah, you should be someone who's hospitable.
okay, but the whole joke is, you ever met like a hospitable bartender? It's like, it's kind of understood. Like, you be cool to the bartender, they're cool to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not tipping your bartender, why the fuck are they going to be like out of their way being cool to you?
You know what pisses me off? Restaurants that ask you to tip on top of their own charge that they give you in addition to the bill to pay their workers for healthcare. I'm like, why don't you pay your workers for healthcare?
Well, I've never experienced that.
They have them in LA, and I'm not going to call it the restaurant because I actually really like going there, and I will go and I will pay and I will tip, but it pisses me off.
Wait, there's an extra fee. So here's my other thing.
Mm-hmm.
The war on tipping should be fought by all of us as a unit. It should be.
Or by the restaurants who should pay their workers more.
But the restaurants also don't make that much money. So this is the thing. Like, restaurants, no. Restaurants make money, but they pay people nothing because they basically are not making enough money anyway. It's not on the restaurants. It's on society to generate more money, okay, to then pay all service workers, retail workers, taxi drivers, everyone who works in service, to pay those people more.
Mm-hmm.
But these people are obviously just taken advantage of. I was as well. It's just a known thing. If you're like 16 to 18, you're working one of those jobs, fucking pay minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone like working for a living, doing those jobs, it's like, why should I have to like be at the beck and call of like someone who's tipping me and hope that like someone blesses my week? It should just be included.
Do you think
in the
that there
salary.
should be tipping in clothing stores?
Kind of, TBH.
That's commission.
I know there's commission and stuff, but I just mean like in terms of, yeah, if you're selling like high-end products and stuff, I think if you get like exemplary service, you definitely should. There should be a way to like tip the person, or they should be able to make more money.
Do they do that when it's like a personal shopper? They have like Aritzia has like the personal shopper section you can go in and get someone to.
Yeah, it's like a Top Man. They used to have like a stylist section where they would also be able to get tipped, but it's like me running the floor and like fucking, I don't get any bonus for folding jeans. And then while I'm doing my task, oh, got to go help this person, got to go check this person out. It's like, honestly, this is the and like I see a lot of bullshit online too about like how the service industry, like people aren't polite anymore. I'm like, I wouldn't be fucking polite. I'm sorry. Like, I'm impolite every day in my life in some form or another, and I have a good ass life. I'm like, when I was working retail and then I have to like go above and beyond and I'm underpaid and all shit, I'm like, people aren't getting paid anymore. I totally get why people aren't in good moods about it. Especially, I still have to lecture people on tipping culture. Like, imagine working at a bar for 8 hours and then like 3 people don't tip. Everyone's acting like a fucking asshole. I think what we need is better etiquette, truly. Like, societal etiquette, in addition to like tipping. I don't know if there's like a thesis here, but in addition to like the tipping culture itself, I think the theme is like, treat every service worker like it's you fucking working the job. Please.
And give them a tip.
Like, give them a tip. Like, if you're in a car, like, I know you don't want to talk to a driver, and I get it in your example, but think about like driving for 8 hours. It's like, it's fucking boring. You're listening to the same music. You're listening to like, unless you're tuned into like Sirius,
Unless you're
and
tuned
you're listening
into
to Dialed In, but that's only an hour a day. And if you're listening to Daily Dirty, that's 2 hours. Like, if you're listening to Unwell shows, like, totally. But for the most part, like, you want to have conversations. If you're working behind a bar, like, you want to be talking to interesting people to make the time go by faster. So please just like treat all service workers well. And the best way you can do that, if you're not going to be super personable,
is give them a tip.
just fucking tip.
I always think about that.
Just
like,
tip.
Oh, these people who are working here, they have to say hi to every single person who's walking in. Like, what about their day? How's their day going?
Totally. It's just like, I feel like an immense guilt. Maybe I should deal with that in therapy, but I just feel like an immense guilt, like doing almost anything anymore, because I know every place that I go, like, people are severely underpaid, and so like I view it as like a burden when I go into a restaurant. I'm like, fuck, if I come in like a little bit late to a restaurant, I'm like, damn, like, I don't want them to have to put out a table.
I don't
or
want
like,
them to have to hate me.
no, but I don't want them to like have to put out a table, or like the kitchen was just like wrapping up and they're cleaning, shutting everything down. It's like, now I got to fucking put in an order, so I'll do something like quick. It's just like the way everyone thinks. I think if everyone was a little more thoughtful,
A little more empathetic.
yeah, exactly. All right, well, that leads us into one of our favorite segments. Let's get to Ick or Stick.
Ick? Ew! Or stick?
Alrighty, for Ick or Stick today, we have Ryan. Ryan, what the fuck is going on? Talk to us. What can we help you with?
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I just need a little advice on this situation. So I started seeing this girl, and it's just been a little bit weird, especially when I went to her house for the first time. So I live with a bunch of roommates. I don't really like having her over just because there's a bunch of dudes in the house, and it gets a little awkward sometimes if we're just trying to, hang out in the living room.
Totally.
Everyone's coming through.
You're trying to have a moment.
We want our own space. But when I suggested to her, like, hey, why don't I just go over to your place, she got really weird about it. so after, not pushing, but just like heavily suggesting a few times, like, hey, why don't we just go over to yours? There's too many people at my place to, have privacy. She finally caved, and, we went over to her place, and, I didn't know what the situation was going to be like, because I know she told me she had a few animals, which isn't a big deal. I'm not allergic or anything. But when I went over, she had a shit ton of animals.
What constitutes a shit ton?
Okay, so she has 3 cats, 2 dogs, like big dogs, and a few guinea pigs. I think like 2 or 3.
What about a chinchilla?
Well, I don't know. Maybe sometime soon, but I don't know. It feels like a little bit of a hoarder situation. I don't know. Like
she's hoarding lives.
She's running a farm.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really talked to each other about it because it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, it smells in there, too. I mean, It's not a big place, so,
okay.
2 big dogs.
Jesus Christ.
3 cats.
I know. I'm a dog person, too. Listen, I'm allergic, so that would be a huge problem for me.
Wait, so when you went over, though, like, it was awkward vibes. What was the energy? Were you petting the dogs? Were you petting the cats? Were you with the guinea pigs?
They're all pretty friendly. I mean, they're all chill. It's just she just kind of shut off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't want me there, but
you just got weird vibes from her.
Yeah, I feel like it sounds like you got weirder vibes from her than really the fact that there were animals and maybe that there was a little bit of a...
How long have you been talking to this girl?
It's been a few months.
A few months. And
is
you've only been
pretty-
to her place one time?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it from your perspective of being like, hey, I've been seeing you for a few months. Like, when can we go over? Then now that she's hiding the pet thing and like whatever, she obviously knows that something's up with it. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been protective about you coming to her place.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, like if you're getting a weird vibe from something like this, like it sounds weird. Like it sounds like there's something under the surface, especially like for someone who loves animals, right? Like to not give your animals like a great life. And like if you're living in a small place, you shouldn't have fucking 10 pets, like personally.
Yeah. So maybe there's a reason why she has so many pets. Have you guys spoken about the pets at all and why they're and like how she became like a person who has, kind of a little bit of a mini farm? Some people just love animals.
I haven't spoken to her about it because I don't really know how to approach it. But honestly, I feel like she just can't say no to strays.
Oh.
Like the dogs. And
that's why she let you in, Ryan.
Maybe it's why.
No.
No, but let's help you game plan for how you're going to bring it up with her without seeming like you're attacking.
And one more question: when did you go over for the first time? When was this?
It was about a week ago.
Okay.
How are we going to help Ryan game plan, Rach?
Okay. Well, obviously, I feel like in every relationship, especially at like this point where you've been dating for a few months, I feel like that's when all the communication should kind of come to a head. Because if you're going to move forward with this person, you want to do so with confidence. And if you're feeling like this weird energy, the fact that you guys can't really go hang out yours, it feels like, there's a lot of things going on at hers. You want to be able to confidently go into the relationship knowing that you guys have some sort of safe space. So I think you should just bring it up. I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, I agree. Number one, it's amazing that you've already been talking for like multiple months at this point, and it has not been a problem.
Yeah,
just because I'm like, okay, at your place, it's rowdy. You got the boys over there, like in the living room all the time. There's no chill time. Like I get that.
There's animals everywhere.
And then literally there's animals at her house. I'm like, I could not imagine meeting a girl not having like a place to just relax and chill that's not in public. Like that is like number one for me. So this definitely needs to get spoken about. For me, I think you got to go in without attacking in terms of like not saying it's like a huge problem. If you don't have a problem with it and it's not based on an allergy, just being like, hey, like how can we get to the root of like, why do you have these animals? Like, is there like a plan with them? Are you just like boarding them? Is this like an adoption situation? Are you going to keep all of them forever? Like, is it sustainable or conducive like to the life you want to live, et cetera? Like, you don't want to ask anything like too harsh because then she's going to feel defensive and having to defend your animals to like the guy. It's like, who knows? Yeah.
You want to come at it from a place of caring and how can you help her set herself up for the best success?
Ryan, I know what you can do. Ryan, go buy a furry costume. Go buy a dog outfit. Okay. And we're going to slowly but surely get rid of one pet at a time and replace them with different outfits that you can wear.
Well, Ryan, do you feel comfortable bringing up to her the fact that you felt a weird vibe when you came over and you want her to feel confident about when you guys are hanging out at hers?
I mean, I feel like I can. I genuinely, I don't know how comfortable I feel bringing it up to her because I just don't want, like, if she shut down the moment I step through the door, I don't want her to kind of cut me off or ghost me if I ask her.
Okay, I have an idea. I actually have a real idea this time.
Okay.
I won't joke around. I'm sorry. This is toxic.
Okay.
And this is fucked up, but I think you should fake an allergy. I think you should just say the next time you're at her place, like, start sneezing a little bit.
Really?
Yes. And like fake a little allergy, and then she'll be like, what's wrong? You'll be like, I think it's like all the dogs or all the cats. Or like...
I know, but that doesn't give her an out. I'd be like, okay, let me go sell my dogs now.
I know, but like you can assess like if she feels guilty or not that Ryan has the allergy at her place.
I'd probably
and
go
if she's
into
willing to be like a little more proactive about it.
Mm-hmm. I'd probably go into it being like, oh, these dogs are so cute. These cats are so cute. Like, have you always loved animals? Like, trying to understand when this started and really getting to like the inner workings of how she got here.
Animal Farm.
Yeah, and when you understand that, that gives you a good place of like authority on how to move forward.
Yeah. Also, Ryan, like anytime you feel like you can't broach a subject, like or like talk about it with someone, not a great sign. I don't want you to feel scared to have any conversation with this girl and that you're going to push her away, especially when it is something that's on your mind enough to call in and talk to us about. So I think you have to game plan and understand that like the conversation is imperative regardless of how you're going to do it. But you need to be able to have the conversation with her about it. So you can be more passive, like Rachel said, if you just get to like the root of like, hey, have you always loved animals? A little softer approach. You can do what I said and lie about having an allergy. However you want to get the subject talked about. But until then, like I want you to feel comfortable when you're going to her place.
To bring up whatever's going through your mind, even if it's not about the animals, like anything in the future of your relationship, you're going to want to share with your partner.
Yeah.
Thoughts, feelings?
Okay. I think I'll probably take the little more passive approach. I don't know. I just don't want to scare her away. She's really cool.
That's the thing. She sounds really cool.
Honestly, and why don't you just say that? And like once you understand like where it started and be like, I think remind her how cool you think you are.
Yeah.
Be like, I think you're cool. I see a future with you and I want to be able to talk about these things. So like,
but your house smells like shit.
No, do not say that.
But your house smells like $7.
But just be vulnerable. And I think, at least for girls, when a guy is being vulnerable with them, it makes us feel safe to share how we actually feel. Because otherwise, like, who knows where they're going to go? I
know. But there's something about that smell, like that animal smell, you know?
Oh, I know.
It's like I'm trying to have sex with a girl. I'm not trying to
One of my friends
I'm not trying to fuck in a barn right now.
One of my friends has a few pets, and we always like make fun of her. Yeah. Be like, you live at a farm. She's like, I love my farm.
Like, okay, 2 dogs, that's a lot already.
I had 2 dogs.
No, but 2 dogs is a lot, but I'm like, I get it. Like Alex Cooper, 2 dogs, big ass house, but 2 dogs, I get that. 2 dogs, 3 cats, 4 guinea pigs. I'm like, Jesus.
And throw in a chinchilla while you're at it.
I'm like, where are we going? To fucking St. Ives? Like the fucking man with 7 hats and 7 dogs and 7 wives? You know
it's
what
like
I'm talking
he
about?
goes to his house. He goes over to her house. It's park safari.
Literally.
Pets each one of them, gives them each
He
a
brings
treat.
like a machete. He's like fucking slicing through the leaves.
Oh,
He's
the
like,
machete.
Yeah. Anyway, keep it locked here because we will see you on the other side of this break. Should we tell the people your big secret from break number 1? Rachel's shaking her head at me. All right. Well, I mean, stay tuned to the end of the show. Maybe I'll just drop it if Rachel upsets me.
Stay tuned for the end of my life.
Yeah. I'm definitely not going to do that.
So we want to know because Jelly Roll, the singer, the country singer, I believe, who's on tour right now with Post Malone. You know him?
I do know Post Malone.
What a good name, Jelly Roll. But he was joking that he's
Is that a joke or is that real?
It's real.
What a good name, Jelly Roll.
I feel like it's a fun name.
Hi, this is my baby, Jelly Rolled Friedman.
Is that his real name?
What a cute baby.
Wait, is Jelly Roll his real name?
Jelly Roll?
It's a fun name.
Obviously, it's not his real fucking name.
It's
Duh.
Like he likes Jello.
This is my son, Jelly Roll.
Maybe he had like a little jelly belly.
Okay. I really don't know anything about this man other than he
I'm gonna
seems
tell
like
you
a nice dude who
something
makes
about
country
him.
music.
And he was joking that he's going to, quote, quit the music business.
His name is Jason Bradley DeFord.
Cool. But he was saying he was going to quit the music business because 2 of his childhood dreams came true.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm just imagining me going to the fucking nursery, like at a hospital, being, oh, he's so cute. What's his name? That's Jelly Roll. That's my little baby Jelly
That's
Roll.
my little jelly bean.
Yeah.
He basically said that he can quit his career now because he had his first cameo on Eminem's album, and then he was featured on a song with Lil Wayne as well in the Carter 6. So he said on Instagram, I was on Lil Wayne and Eminem's album in the same year, y'all. I retire. It's over, y'all. I quit the music business. This is my last tour ever. I can't do anything cooler. Yeah. Which I've had that feeling before. You know, when you hit a milestone in your career and you're like, I could go now. I'm good.
What's your milestone?
I feel like I keep hitting new milestones where I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. But then I think that I'm good feeling lasts maybe a good 24 hours until it's on to the next thing, which is something that I've noticed a lot of my friends have that. I don't want to say it's an issue because I think it just means, okay, we're ambitious, but I'm trying to appreciate those big milestones that I hit and sit in that, I can quit, for a week, more than a day.
Right.
So like, for example, I'm trying to think of one that happened. I mean, even just like small things, like I met Justin Bieber once and I was like, okay, I could die happy now. Like I gotta go.
That's a career milestone?
It wasn't a career. It was just like a moment of that happening.
Okay. But is there a career milestone that you think like towards the future? Like,
oh yeah. So like the John Mayer episode, which you can listen back to on the SiriusXM app, when John Mayer walked into our studio, it was actually our first episode that we recorded with Alex as well, Miss Alex Cooper. And I was so nervous to, I wanted to do a good job. And then we're sitting there and John Mayer just casually walks in our studio and joins us for a third of our episode. And he's someone I've watched my entire life. And I became, a very chill version of myself, which I was surprised, in like fight or flight. Definitely chose fight. And I was so happy after. I was like, I'm good. But that for me was not like, I'm done my career. If anything, that gave me a moment of, wow, I'm just getting started.
Like, what is it that you visualize in your head? Is it like winning a Grammy? Is it winning an Oscar? Is it like winning an award? Is it like recognition? Is it an amount of money? Like, what is it for you? For me, it's buying a house.
I was thinking buying a house, but then once you buy a house, like that comes with a lot of expenses. I can't quit my career after I buy a house.
No, it's not quit my career. It's more just saying, okay, I got to the level. Like, not that I'm just like, okay, I did this. I just bought a car recently. That was dope. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't like a life goal of mine.
See, for me, when I got my car, I felt so accomplished. Like it's kind of like a inner child moment for me. All the cars that I've driven since getting my license have been someone else's car that they either gave to me or a car that I bought, from someone I didn't know, or it was always like a secondhand, third hand, fourth hand, fifth hand cars. Mm-hmm. And so when I got my new car, that was a really big moment for me because I was like, I did that shit.
I think for me, one of the only career things besides the house thing, which is only a new thing since I moved to LA, but the real thing, and Emily just said she has the same one too. That is, Emily said she's always wanted to have a speech like at an award show. More specifically for me, always growing up, my mom was like, you better thank me. If you ever do anything, you better fucking thank me. And I was like, obviously, like whatever. And then my mom and I like probably had a rough patch. And I was like, I'm never thanking you. I'm like, no, but now I'm like, obviously I would want to just get on stage and thank my mom because my mom is like,
she's your rock.
She's the rock.
So once you get to that place where you get to go on stage and give a thank you speech and thank your mom, that's when you'll know, like, I've done it.
True.
I love that.
I have to be like in a suit or like a tux or something.
I think for me, once I'm on the TV or a movie screen, not being like myself, like playing someone else, or just being like the star of the show.
Rachel Friedman is Jelly Roll.
I come out as Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Singing with a guitar.
That's what you should do. You should do the Jelly Roll movie. You should just
Jelly Roll movie starring Rachel Friedman. That's fucked up.
So how's life in LA? I'm actually playing Jelly Roll in the upcoming biopic. Jelly Roll.
I don't think I'm the one playing it.
Yeah. I could see it. I actually don't know what Jelly Roll looks like. I know he has a lot of face tats. I'm pretty sure.
I actually don't know what he looks like.
You should get face tats, bro.
Imagine I come out to
Rachel Friedman is Jelly Roll.
I'm saying that I want to play someone else, but I'd also love to play myself on TV. I think that take it one step further. If I go get a role where I get to play Rachel.
A role?
Yeah.
A Jelly Roll?
Yeah, if I get to play a Jelly Roll as Rachel Friedman, I'm on TV or I'm in a movie and I do a little cameo as myself, like, see ya.
Yeah.
I'm out.
It's like I just saw Stephen A. Smith. Do you know who that is? He's like a sportscaster on ESPN, whatever. But he plays himself like in some soap opera. And he just like shoots somebody with a gun. It's like everywhere because it's like so out of place. Like I just imagine you're like on Law and Order, just SVU, and you're like, just like, I don't know, crying about something on the show. And I'm like, oh my God, Rachel's on the show. I feel like that's actually a very attainable thing. I have a lot of friends who did SVU or
I don't
Law
want to
and
be on
Order
SVU.
stuff.
I actually realized I don't want to act. I want to just be myself on TV.
Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, I would love to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Okay, that would be big.
That would be huge for my mom. She loves Dancing
Alex
with the Stars.
Cooper, if you're listening, and I'm going to send this to her, I'm going to text this to her. Alex, let's get Rachel Friedman on Dancing with the Stars.
It's kind of like Hannah Koch on The Daily Dirty. She was telling me a story that she used to work in sports for the San Diego Padres, and she worked there, I think, for 6 years, and then really recently she threw out the first pitch.
Yeah.
So I feel like for her that would be a big moment. Like,
Totally.
oh, I'm good. I started here, and now I'm here.
I think for me, honestly, this is going to sound so fucking stupid and sad. One of the only I've made it moments was, so I started doing like my own, I worked for myself for like the past 4 years, and it was good. I think honestly, once I kind of reconnected with a lot of my middle school friends, and they were all like very inquisitive and were like, wow, you're doing well. I was like, I made it. I was like, that's dope.
Wait, that's so relatable, because whenever I go home to Montreal, I see people who used to not be so nice to me.
Yeah.
And now they're up my ass and around the corner being like, you're so funny. You're so great. I'm like, yeah, bitch. I've been here the whole time.
See, for me, like, I never had them, like, I mean, there were obviously some people who were mean to me in middle school, but I mean, even since middle school, it's not like they were mean to me. It's just more like, I feel like I could see in their eyes, they were like, wow, what you're doing is like really cool. And that was very meaningful to me, to be honest.
I love that.
Yeah, that's my I made it moment. To be honest, I don't really have too many career aspirations where I need to like hit certain benchmarks. I'm just like excited to be on the ride.
Put me on Dancing with the Stars. Why don't you?
No. Rachel Friedman is Jelly Roll. That's what I'm excited.
Well, I love giving everyone advice. Speaking of advice, something that we're going to get to tomorrow that we want to hear from you is about people who give bad advice. What do you do? Like, do you call them out? Do you think that they're kind of weird after that you hear them give someone else different advice, or you're like, wait, that's maybe not a person I want to be friends with?
Yeah.
Or even further, the advice that's going out on TikTok. And so as two people who give advice, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, so call us 888-91 on air. That is 888-916-6247. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today to a very funny episode of Dialed In, where Rachel was Jelly Roll, ?
Exactly. And you can follow us at Dialed In on Instagram and on TikTok. Follow me at Rachy Fried Poulet.
Me at Montaine. I guess tonight Rachel has to go home and study up on her country music, maybe get some face tats.
I'll be back.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. We'll see you at the same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads.
With Alex Cooper.
Oh, Alex Cooper's on with us tomorrow. I just found out now. All right. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.